Okay, I think now it's the time to start discussing Unit 9. Now, in Unit 9, we have time for telling a story. In Unit 9, we have past perfect tense. This is one of the most important tenses in the English language. And we have narrative tenses, the tenses that we have to use to narrate a story. Now, joining sentences, feelings, and finally, exclamations. Okay. I think, guys, we have to start discussing the past perfect tense. Again, the past perfect tense is one of the most important tenses in the English language, and absolutely we have to learn how to use this tense. Please, girls, don't forget that we have 12 tenses in the English language. We have to master at least 9 tenses. We have to master them. We have to know how to use them, how to write them. We have to know their usage because absolutely we need them in writing and in speaking. Now, let me show you the usage of the past perfect. Please listen to me carefully because I told you that this tense is one of the most important tenses. So, the past perfect tense. Okay, as usual, guys, we have to start discussing um, the formation, and then we have to discuss the usage. So this is the formation. Absolutely, guys. There is something I have to know, you have to know, and I have to repeat because I know that I told you this information before, and let me tell you this information again and over again. Don't forget that all tenses in the English language have two verbs, except for two tenses, the simple present tense and the simple past tense. Only these two tenses, which are the simple present tense and the simple past tense, we have only one verb. For example, I go to school. Notice that I go to school, I have only one verb, which is go. And the past of go is went. I went to school. And we notice that in I went to school, I have only one verb, which is went. But the rest of the tenses, the 10 tenses that we have in the English language, we have two verbs. Please don't forget this. All the time, guys, the first verb is called the auxiliary. So this is the verb number 1, which is the auxiliary verb, which comes to help what? The main verb. So the helping verb, the auxiliary verb, comes to help the main verb. Now, let me write these two verbs and let me give you an example or write a sentence just to show you the formation of the past perfect tense. So keep in mind that the auxiliary in the past perfect is had. And if you remember, guys, when we discussed the present perfect tense, we said that in the present perfect tense, we have and has. Okay, now because it is past perfect, we have had, which is the past of have and has, plus the verb 3 of the main verb. Or some teachers call this past participle. Do you know the meaning of past participle? Do you know the meaning of verb 3? Or you don't?
In French, yes, participe passé.
But in
I don't.
English? Mhm, mhm. Okay. By the way, this is the, by the way, guys, let me try to explain um, the meaning of past participle or the verb 3. Keep in mind that we have in English language verb 1, or let me start saying verb 0. This is verb 0, and this is verb 1. This is verb 2.
إيه لما أنا حاطة لهم EN بالآخر.
Yeah, exactly. This
Okay.
is verb 3, and this is gerund. This is J1. Okay. Now let me give you an example, guys, just to show you the meaning of these verbs. For example, if I want to say walk, notice, guys, that walk is in verb 0, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, all the time, guys, the verb 1 is the simple present tense. Now, in the simple present tense, with he, she, it, with walk, what shall I say? She walks to school.
Walk.
Oh, bravo, because this is the simple present tense. Now, the verb 2 is the simple past tense. And what is the past of walk?
Walk.
Walked. Absolutely, I have to add ed. Am I right? Ed. Okay. Now, the verb 3 of walk is walked again. And I'm going to tell you why. So, walked, walked. There is no difference between verb 2 and verb 3. And all the time, guys, if I want to say J1, add ing to the verb. Walk plus ing becomes what? Walking. Okay? This is walking. Okay. Now let me change the verb. Instead of writing walk, let me write eat. Now, as we said that the verb 1 is the simple present. Now with he, she, it, in the simple present, I have to say what? She eat what? What shall I add?
Eats.
Eats. Thank you so much. What is the past of eat? Because verb 2 is the simple past.
Ate.
It is ate. Thank you. So I don't have to say eat it. And the verb 3 of eat is what?
Eaten.
Eaten. Thank you, Maisa. Eaten. Okay. And absolutely, as I told you, the gerund is to add ing to the verb. So eating, exactly. Eat, eating. Okay. Let me tell you something that I have two kinds of verbs. We have the regular verb, which accepts the ed or ed or ied. But the next verb is called irregular verb. I mean, it doesn't accept the d, ed, or ied. I have to change the whole verb. So this is regular verb, and this is irregular. Okay. Please don't forget, guys, that the verb 0 is the infinitive of the verb. When I say infinitive, you don't have to add anything at the end of the verb. Okay, infinitive. You have to add nothing. No s, no es, no ies, no d, no ied, no ing, nothing at all. So if you don't want to add anything at the end of the verb, this is infinitive or called verb 0. And this is the verb 3. This is what I need in the past perfect tense. Okay? And as I told you, the auxiliary is had plus verb 3, had plus this verb. So had walked, I had walked to school, and I had eaten my dinner. Okay, guys?
Okay, teacher. بس
Okay.
في عندي question about the infinitive. ما بنحط قبله to إيه؟
Yes, to infinitive. It is called to infinitive. Exactly. Thank you, Maisa. Okay?
Okay.
But this is why, Maisa, after to, I have to use what? Verb 0. Okay?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So please don't forget
Thank
this
you.
rule. And all the time, after modal verbs, I have to use the verb 0. When I say modal verbs, guys, I mean like will, would, can, could, shall, should, may, might, must. All these verbs are called modal verbs. And after them, exactly, I have to use the verb 0. I don't have to add anything at the end of the verb. So this is it. Now, this is the formation of the past perfect. So I had eaten my dinner. I had eaten my dinner. Okay, now let's talk about the usage. After finishing talking about the formation, now it's the time to talk about usage. Keep in mind, guys, that I have only one usage for the past perfect, the usage. The usage of the past perfect is you have to use it before the simple past. Or let me write, it should happen. It should happen before the simple past. What do I mean by before the simple past? Absolutely, I'm going to write an example. Okay, so keep in mind, please, that the past perfect should be used before the simple past. And one thing you have to remember, I cannot use the past perfect alone in the sentence. I mean, if you want to say like this, I had eaten my dinner, this is wrong. Why this is wrong? Because the past perfect cannot be used alone. Okay, what shall I do? You have to use the simple past with the past perfect all the time. Okay? Okay, girls?
Okay.
Let me give you an example. I know that you are still confused. Let's talk about this example. For example, I remembered that I had lost my wallet. Okay, so now I have to say that this sentence is completely correct. Notice that had verb 3, this is the past perfect. And notice that I use the simple past with the past perfect. And as I told you, girls, you have to remember that the simple past should be happened before the past perfect. I mean, number one, the first action that happened is I lost my wallet, then I remembered that I had lost my wallet. Okay? Let me give you another
Okay.
example. I know.
Okay. In the same sentence. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't use it alone in the sentence. Don't say, for example, guys, I had lost my wallet. This is wrong. Why? Because
Oh,
all the time you have to use the simple past with the past perfect. And keep in mind that the past perfect should happen before the simple past. Okay?
okay.
Okay. Let me give you another example because I know that you are still confused. Now, if I want to say, when I reached the class, okay, what happened, comma, the teacher had started the class. Okay, let's try to discuss this example. First of all, guys, notice that I have two verbs, two actions. This is the first action, which is reaching. This is the second action, which is starting.